Mick and Sam, taking you to Jungle Land. Bengals pride, it fills the air. Every week we're always there. Touchdowns, tackles, all the plays. Bengals roaring every way. Stories, news, and game recaps. Jungle Juice, we bridge those gaps. Welcome to the Jungle Juice. Mick and Sam, let's break it loose. Cincinnati, hear our call. Bengals fans, unite us all.
Welcome into this week's edition of the Jungle Juice podcast. I'm Sam. He's Mick. Mick, it's such a great week. Things are so great, aren't they?
Yeah, I'm glad you're not asking me how I'm doing today.
I didn't.
Not great.
I didn't. Yeah. Not great, Bob. Not great, Bob, at all.
No, to be fair, with the Reds, I think we're all just happy that they're in the postseason. And honestly, they almost pulled off a good a comeback in that game. But we're not doing a Reds podcast, even though we're both wearing Reds gear today to show support for.
I put on here when I make a list of things and topics and stuff that I think we should mention. Literally, the first thing I had on here was let's start the show off with some positivity.
And the Reds got a lot of negative.
The Reds are in the postseason. Yes, that's literally what I put on there, and we have to make sure that we're done in about an hour, which I think we're probably. Well, I don't know. You've got a lot to get off your chest, I know. So maybe not. But we want to make sure that we're done.
The most robust notes I've done, just because I know that the game is coming up in an hour. So
yes, so we are going to hopefully
be more events. It's going to be a venting day. It's going to be a venting.
Yeah, because I was going through here, and we'll get to the game here in a moment. But I didn't even necessarily make a lot of specific game notes as far as reaction to the Broncos, because I feel like a lot of this is just more state of the franchise stuff, and we're going to get to that.
It is a 5-alarm fire in a good old Paycor Stadium right now.
Yes, and we've got plenty to get to on that. We'll also talk Bengals-Lions, and just kind of ask the question of, is there a window that the Bengals could potentially pull off a massive home upset against the Lions? And we'll talk about that. We invite you to follow us on our social media channels, though. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're also on Twitter. Also on your favorite podcasting platform. Make sure you give us a 5-star rating there. That really helps more people find it. Even if you don't like our podcast or you think we're awful, please, 4 stars? I think that's fine, too.
Hell, you can give us a 1-star.
No, do not give a 1-star. That is
we need interaction.
Yes, but a 1-star. 1-star means nobody's going to find our podcast.
Wait, is that really the case?
Yes. You don't want to know 1-star.
If we have enough people give us 1 stars, we're going to be unfindable.
Correct, which might be, honestly, for the best for this. Lisa says she feels dead inside.
Even Lisa, Lisa, the optimist, is. I
mean, listen,
not feeling great right now.
To go 15-2, though, you had to lose 2 at some point.
True. Yeah, it's crazy that we're saying, hey, it's a 5-alarm fire.
And they're 1 game out of first place.
It is really hitting the fan, and they are still 500. 4 weeks into the season.
This time last year, we were just talking about their first win of the season.
Yeah.
So, listen, and again, things a little different right now. Because even the losses to open up the year last year were not. I guess the Patriots was probably an utter train wreck. But I mean, Commanders
But that was an utter train wreck that could have been won. The Chiefs game we felt really good about after watching that. We were oh man.
You didn't have T. Higgins in that game. You think, hey, you play here, play there, you win that game.
Yeah, this has got to be the worst stretch of Bengals football ever.
It's up there.
Question mark?
It's up there.
I mean, dating back. I mean, I guess 2008 was a bad season. Was a really bad year. Because in 2019, we lost games, right? We led 2-14 that year, but there was a lot of games we were in, or the Bengals were technically in, and we're getting blown out like we have the past couple of weeks.
I think instead of, usually this is the moment where we're going to go through and we're going to be like, oh, this was good, positive. Yay. Oh, this kind of sucked as far as in the game. But I think we first just kind of have to do a state of the franchise talk for this. Because there's a lot with this after 2 abysmal performances by the Cincinnati Bengals. You've scored 1 touchdown in the last 2 weeks, and that 1 touchdown
Garbage.
was a garbage time touchdown.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're thinking the Bengals have not led. Well, I guess they did lead 3-0. Okay. They did lead 3-0 on Monday night, but they've not led a football game except for 7 seconds against the Jags. They trailed that entire game.
Mm-hmm.
They led for just a couple of minutes on Monday. They didn't lead at all against the Vikings. It's just, I don't know. And I know you last night when we were talking, you're like, I've got some things to get off my chest. So what I was thinking about doing, Mick, is just pulling one of these things and just going bang and let Mick cook, right? Do you want
No,
I think that might be dangerous. That might be dangerous. Now I screwed it up.
Screen.
I screwed it up here. There it is.
What the hell did you do?
There we go. Okay, we're back now.
So instead of going on a monologue, rant, or anything,
No, I think the people want that. They want a Mick monologue.
I think we need to start really boiling down to what the problem is with the state of the franchise and where they're at right now. Because I think we all came away from last year, and I know that Joe Burrow's hurt right now. Joe Burrow's, obviously the driving force for a lot of wins and a lot of production on this team. I don't know how much better the offense fares even when Joe Burrow's on the field for this. Probably a little bit, quite a bit better, yes. I guess.
To me, my biggest takeaway is if you didn't think Joe Burrow was the best quarterback in the NFL,
you sure do now.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think I saw somebody making a joke, but I think it's accurate. Joe Burrow should win the MVP award this year because it's damn sure he's the most valuable player on any team in the NFL.
And part of me wonders if, because he's been on this, I don't even think he's been in the building much for the past couple of weeks. I don't know if you have.
He was back last week.
He was back last week. What did he didn't travel with the team to Denver, did he?
No. He probably. I don't imagine that's probably. And I don't even think he could probably be on the sideline. He'd probably have to be in the press box, just based on they usually don't put players that have an injury because the last thing you want is something wild to happen where he gets hit on the sideline, obviously. And then what's the point of sitting him on the bench? He'd probably rather be up top so he can actually see the game.
Yeah, to an extent. But I mean, I think that this team's really just missing leadership right now in general. They're not getting it from Zac Taylor. They're not getting it from, they're not communicating well in the field. They've had nothing but sloppiness for the past couple of weeks. These pre-snap penalties are something we are not accustomed to seeing in a Zac Taylor offense. And I've talked a lot of shit about Zac Taylor for the past 6 years. The one thing that you and I can both say that he's done an excellent job at is having his teams be disciplined and not giving away free yards and not killing drives because of terrible, miscommunicated, sloppy penalties. And I don't know if that was necessarily the driving force in this game. I mean, there were a lot of them. They stunted a lot of drives in this game. But the fact that that's been Zac Taylor's MO pretty much his entire tenure as the Cincinnati Bengals head coach. And now it's all coming to a head now in week 4 of his 7th season coaching. You have to start to wonder just a little bit. I'm wondering it a lot. I think the fans are wondering it a lot. Is this team giving up on Zac Taylor? Do we need a new messenger in the building? Because, we've talked. I think we've both, or at least I have not been a huge fan of Zac Taylor's play calling. I have not. I think it's been very vanilla. I think that they were late to the game on pre-snap motion. They started implementing it a little bit last year, but it wasn't like anything out of this world. It wasn't like Shanahan pre-snap motion or Mike McDaniel pre-snap. It's basic. It's crazy how uncreative he has been at calling plays. But the fact that we are watching this team actively give up in this game against the Broncos and pretty much like that against the Vikings as well. I mean, you have the two worst losses, I think, in two worst. It might have been the worst streak in franchise history. I mean, you have to go back to 2008 with the Ryan Fitzpatrick year to find anything even remotely as bad. So I don't know if this culture thing that Zac Taylor has prided himself on is necessarily active at all in this locker room right now.
We're going to see over these next couple of weeks.
Yes. But yeah, I mean, you're just not seeing good play callers find a way when their star quarterback's out or, hurt for the year to at least be competitive in games and at least give their team a shot. You go back to I'll throw out Kyle Shanahan quite a bit in this podcast. But Kyle Shanahan with the Niners has had his starting quarterback get hurt about 50% of the seasons he's been in San Francisco. Not once have you looked at that offense, even though they have placed last in the division a couple of times in that span. Not once have you seen that offense and you were like, man, this offense is completely inept. It doesn't even look like a professional offense. Good play callers find a way to make it work with what they have. And it's not like the Bengals don't have the resources on the offensive side of the ball to make things happen. You have what's supposed to be the best wide receiver duo in the league. You also have other good pass catchers and Mike Gesicki. And I know Noah Fant's been out the past couple of weeks, but maybe Noah Fant's the difference maker on this offense.
I mean, Noah Fant just didn't play last week. I mean, he played against the Vikings. He was the one.
He did play against the Vikings.
Yeah,
good.
So, I mean,
that's not a point.
That's not a factor at all.
So, but you're getting my point. Good play callers find a way to make it work and to at least keep the team competitive in the game. We're not even, Lisa, we're not just competitive. We're not even professional right now. I feel like I don't even know what to call the past couple of weeks. It's been so vanilla on offense. Tackling was so bad on defense this week, which I know the coaches can't go in there and tackle, for the players, but they were taking such bad angles. They were constantly out of position. You feel like this defense has regressed. I think grading wise right now, this defense is worse than it was grading wise than it was last year.
Let's come back to the defense here in a few minutes, because I have some points written down on that. For the offense, though, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is an accurate point that I remember we had a conversation. And I believe it was early on in 2021, the year that they made the Super Bowl. I don't remember what game, because if you remember, they were what 3-3 at that point, early in that season, or in that realm, right?
4-2, 2021. They were shit.
Okay.
Yeah, they were at least 4-2.
Okay. Early on in that season, I remember us having a conversation, though, where you were, and it might have been 2020, but I think it was 2021, where you were done with Zac Taylor at that point.
It was 2021. No, 2020. It was 2020.
And I don't remember. I just remember, but still, regardless of when it was. And for whatever reason, I was still on board. And I have been, throughout most of this, as between us, without question, the more pro Zac Taylor guy. Without question. Fair, right?
Yeah, 100%.
And after Monday, I have shifted more into what I did, and I haven't done this in a long time, is I did, okay, let's look at the potential of someone else.
Joe Brady?
And I don't, this is not going to be that podcast where we're going to start, but
we'll start doing that when Zac Taylor's out of the building.
Yeah, or it is inevitable that something is, going to have to change or something like that. But I was like, okay, who is out there that would excite fans enough to do that. And obviously, you read the Joe Brady name. Would that work? I mean, that would be one that obviously people would be like, oh boy, LSU, let's get Thad Moss out. Let's just run it back, but, or do they switch it up and go like a Brian Flores or something? It just.
I'll tell you what, just to keep on the subject a little bit. I think I remember you telling me I had like a fever dream, or like I had a dream one night randomly in the off season that they announced John Gruden as the head coach of the Bengals. And I go on the Xbox chat with you guys and I'm like, what the hell am I even, what the hell did I just dream? Because I don't want John Gruden. Sorry,
No.
Josh. I'm not a John Gruden guy. I think that he lucked into a good Super Bowl roster in 2002 and otherwise has been pretty mediocre. But the fact that that is now somewhat becoming a reality, that fans are calling for that, and that may be an option. I don't know. Am I Nostradamus?
I don't think I can imagine that. I'd be stunned. And that would be a move that I'd go, oh boy. I thought you were about to give a shout out to your boy Jim Bob. I thought that's where you were going to go.
Jim Bob Cooter.
Yeah, just because I know how
love
much
Jim Bob Cooter. Is he still coaching?
Yeah, he's the offensive coordinator of the Colts, I believe. I think that's right. Either that or I just completely made that fact up, which is not the first time on this show that I've made something up. But it's just the question of, okay, if not him, then who? What would worry me, and I don't know that this would fix things, is it Darren Simmons? Just because he's been a finalist a couple of times for the job, he's quote-unquote well-respected, would they try and do something like that? And I don't know that I would love that at all. And again, this is really kind of a pointless conversation because until something actually happens, although it would be kind of fun to do this podcast in a coaching shirts, Mick, we would almost have to do daily shows to like keep up with all of the different changes and stuff. Sure, we could have fun. But yeah, I'm kind of with you, Lisa. No to Darren Simmons. But again, if Zac Taylor gets fired mid-season, which I don't really see happening, I think Darren Simmons would be the interim.
Yeah, that's you stole what I was about to say. Yeah, I don't think he would be the long-term head coach in the hypothetical situation. Say that the next 2 weeks are just as bad as the past 2 weeks, and the fans are literally revolting to the point where the Bengals ownership actually has to do something about it, which they don't like to do or have never done. He would probably be the interim head coach. Not the long-term solution by any means. But yeah, I mean, it has finally gotten to that point where Zac Taylor's seat has to be scorching hot at this point, because you can't just say, oh, Joe Burrow's out. That's the reason why our team sucks. If you're losing by a couple scores every game, sure. If you're losing by 10 points every game.
Like the Jake Browning year from 2 years ago, where they were in a lot of those games, the ones that they lost to the Chiefs, by 6?
Yeah.
In Arrowhead with Jake Browning. Like that was where you were like, oh, well, hey, things are there.
They were only out of the second Steelers game during that stretch, really. I don't think they weren't blown out or anything in any other game during that 4-3 stretch from Jake. But yeah, it's just, I don't think it's I just don't think anything. I think you've seen all you can see out of Zac Taylor at this point. Now, every time I say that, he always bounces back and we see competent weeks out of him. And he does have a track record of proving me wrong, and I know that we've always talked about the stigma. Oh, well, Zac always starts slow, but at least he finishes strong. I want a coach that's dominant for the entirety of the season.
Mm-hmm.
I don't give a shit if it doesn't matter if you're 4-7 going into week 12 or whatever, and you rattle off some wins and barely miss the playoffs every year. That does nothing for you other than buy you an extra year of being the head coach of the team. So yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of fans are fed up with this, with the coaching situation here. You tried to revamp the coaching staff. You replaced a lot of your positional coaches. You obviously replaced Lou Anarumo. And I think you have seen this team regress from what it was even last year. And that might be the most troubling sign for me.
Let's talk some facts here right now. You're one game out of first place. You're 2-2. Now, yes, things are bleak, 100%. But for this team right now, are there any signs of optimism?
Right now, I really can't think of any.
I have one, and this, I think,
players, maybe.
I think this just shows a lot of just how bad it is that this is optimistic. The run game on Monday wasn't completely terrible.
It wasn't. It
Chase
went
Brown,
from
10 for 40, 2.5 yards average after contact. I mean, it wasn't terrible.
Yeah, that Jalen Rivers replacing Dalton Reisner really improved the run. I guess it did improve the run offense a little bit. It's just, I think that they went back to what they usually do in the run game. I think you saw a little more inside zone run plays. You didn't see as much of an outside zone game that you saw against the Vikings. You also didn't see crazy defensive fronts like you did against the Brian Flores coach defense last week. So that may also have had something to do with it. But the fact that we're talking about a 2.5 yards per average rushing game.
That's after contact. Yeah.
After contact.
Yeah. So they averaged 4 yards a carry. Chase Brown did.
I mean, it still doesn't do it for
Better
me.
Better than 10 for 3.
I'll tell you what, the secondary probably might be the only in the receivers are really the only position groups where I have a little bit of optimism.
Dax
Hill's had a pretty good year. I think Geno Stone and Jordan Battle have also played well for the most part, although I don't know if they played particularly well during this game. The lack of pass rush is very concerning, like it was last year. Trey's
been a non-factor the last 2 weeks.
He has. And this, I mean, to be fair, they are going up against two of the top offensive lines in the league. It's not going to get any better next week against the Lions coached offensive line, Penei Sewell, out on the field there. Who else do they have? I would say Taylor Decker, but I think Taylor Decker's hurt right now.
Questionable to play. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But in fact, the replacement, though, for him might lead to a little bit of optimism for that. But we'll talk about that when we talk about the Lions. But yeah, you're just getting nothing. You're getting nothing from the pass rush. Now, okay, your first round pick wasn't there. Shamar Stewart didn't play. I know they're optimistic about him playing this week, but it's not like he's a godsend to this defense to where all of a sudden you're expecting him to turn into Lawrence Taylor out there to give something to this. Logan Wilson, he's been very up and down this year.
Yeah.
Very up and down this year. Demetrius Knight, not
had his best game as a pro, I think, or at least his best coverage game as a pro.
And it helps when you have an interception in there.
Yes.
That he almost dropped.
But also has been, I guess, a rookie. I mean, I don't know if he hasn't played particularly well.
The other coverage aspect we got to talk about is maybe the most glaring thing that pops out to me is Cam Taylor-Britt had 5 snaps on defense. And Zac Taylor was asked today, was that because of, he missed last week with an injury? Was it tied to that? His answer, no.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious why he only played 5 snaps if you saw those 2 stick comeback, whatever you want to call, routes by Cortland Sutton, where Cam Taylor-Britt played very passive in coverage and then proceeded to miss tackles, leading to giant gains from Cortland Sutton. That's supposed to be your number 1 corner.
Langdon, you just missed us talking about this. No, we do not want John Gruden.
Langdon's commenting on here.
I just don't. I don't get the Gruden love. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, what else did I write? Okay, let's talk a little Jake Browning right now. How much of this goes on him?
I think a decent amount does. I don't think he progresses through his reads nearly as quickly as Joe Burrow does. I think that maybe it's the offensive line also just not being nearly as good, that he is bailing out of plays too quickly, or he's not processing the correct read to
That's the biggest difference.
That's further down the field.
That's where you're seeing Burrow mask things more than anything.
I think so as well. So I think Jake Browning could be playing better for sure. His deep ball isn't very good. We knew that. But he's just not, I don't think he's getting help much schematically from the offense, from Zac Taylor, to really be able to succeed in this offense. I think that if you go out and trade for a Russell Wilson or a Jameis Winston, is it really going to get any better? My answer would be no. So I just
can't imagine the Bengals are going to do that, because they really want to give up a 5th or a 6th round pick for a guy like that?
No. I mean, there's no way that they would, nor they should. If this team was playing well in every other aspect of the game, and Jake Browning was the clear problem.
If they're 8-2 or something, and this happens, and Jake Browning looks like crap, then yes, you're making a move like that because you're thinking you have a 100% chance to do something.
Yes. But this team is so bad in pretty much every aspect of the game that's not Ryan Rico, even though Ryan Rico had his worst punt of his career yesterday.
And then bomb one for 60 plus too.
He did do that as well. It's hard finding any positives with going for another quarterback like Jameis or like Russell Wilson, even though, like Riley said, it would be a little more fun seeing those guys play the quarterback position instead of Jake Browning.
Schubert makes this point here, and I see a lot of fans doing this. Zac Taylor believes in the guys in the locker room too much. What do you expect him to say when he's in front of the media? Like that's what drives me the craziest about fans. I don't know what good it would be for him to get up there and be like, yeah, these guys, they freaking suck. They're awful. They're trash. Like, I hate them. I want them all cut. Like,
I don't know. Maybe it just takes some verbal abuse from your coach to maybe the positivity is wearing off. Maybe you need to start just railing.
You think
into these
that's
guys.
Going to help? I mean, Mick, just think about it this way. If you walked into your office tomorrow and you heard your boss being like, yeah, that Mick guy, he sucks. I wish he wasn't an accountant here anymore. You'd be like, oh.
Well,
he probably does anyways, but
I was going to say, I actually have different motivators. That might be more motivational to me than anything. Just given,
I just don't get the people that rip apart thread by thread the comments that coaches make. Zac Taylor is a coach. He's going to coach speak. He's going to say, you know what? We've got things. We've got to watch the tape. I believe in these guys, because what benefit does it do for him to be like, yeah, they suck? I don't get that. I don't get that at all. The interaction between him and Jamar Chase, I read nothing into it. Do you?
I don't read too much into it. I think Jamar is obviously pretty pissed with the state of the offense and what's going on with it. I know that Jamar's probably the most competitive guy on the offense in terms of just grit, I guess, without personality. Burrow, yeah. And he's really been, I think he's trying to be the leader of this offense to get something going. I think it is taking a little bit of initiative to go up and confront the guy that's really one of the guys that's really thwarting the way that the offense has been playing and saying, hey, get it together. Like,
but we don't know what was said.
Well, Jamar did say, he was just trying to, discuss with Zac some ways to get the offense going a little bit. Like, it's just it might have been a little brash when he did it, but I'm not reading too much into it. Jamar's not calling for Zach's job or anything like that. Nor I don't think any player on the team would. But I am glad somebody came up to him and said, yo, what the hell is going on? Why are we not doing this? Why are we, it's just, I don't think there's much being read into it.
Anything else you want to talk about? Or you want to go into the Lions here? We've been pretty darn negative here. And I don't know that it's going to get any better when we talk about the Lions, but
yeah, let's talk about the Lions.
Okay, let's set this game up. 4:25 window on Fox. You thought this would be a game start of the season that we get old Tom Brady to come to old Paycor. Yeah, no, that's not happening anymore. Instead, it'll be Kevin Kugler and Daryl Johnston will be on the call. The ruler of the jungle will be Gary Owen, a comedian. That'll be nice.
That's something fun. Is he gonna crack a joke before he?
Well, considering he's not mic'd up, he might, but nobody would be able to hear him.
He's always cracking jokes.
Yeah. It'd be nice to actually have a comedian at the games, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Oh, Alex is watching. Oh, boy. Oh, man, that's awkward. We love you, Schubert. Carl Cheffers is the referee. You want some Carl Cheffers stats, Mick?
Sure.
Bengals are 5-10-2 with Carl Cheffers, which I do find it hilarious that, it's not like the Bengals have tied that much over the last, 15 years. Carl Cheffers, though, been the ref for 2 of them. He ranks top 3 in the NFL in most flags thrown, which is interesting. The refs that are also join him in the top 3 are Ron Torbert and the guy the Bengals had on Monday night. So they're literally just doing that. Alex says, I will storm the field at halftime and do a tight 5-7 just to spite you. Go for it.
Halftime entertainment, Alex Schubert.
I would pay good money to watch that. That would absolutely be good. Some notable Carl Cheffers games. The season opener against the Patriots in 2010. The Colts wild card game in 2014, which I feel like is the one that we all like to forget the most. When they were starting Rex Burkhead at wide receiver, right? Because literally everybody got hurt.
Yeah.
Everybody got hurt. Like, we can say a lot about the Marvin Lewis playoff losses. That's one I don't necessarily fault him for.
Yeah.
They had nobody. They had nobody in that game. The Bills divisional round and Giants last season. So those are a couple of the games. So the Giants last season is the last time Carl Cheffers was the ref. Injury report. Noah Fant was limited today for the Bengals. Presumably that means he will play. Charlie Jones did not practice. Shamar Stewart did not practice, but I know Zac Taylor said he's at least optimistic about Shamar suiting up. For the Lions, Zach Cunningham, Taylor Decker, Khalil Dorsey, Kirby Joseph, DJ Reed all did not practice today for the Lions. Those were some big names on that list.
DJ Reed is on IR, I believe.
He
might be coming
placed.
I don't know.
He did not practice today.
The ESPN depth chart has him on IR, I believe.
Well, he's on the injury report. Okay, maybe it's not been up. He's just been placed on IR. Okay, so when I made my notes, he had not yet. So he's just been placed on IR. So there will be no DJ Reed. They had not made that move on the injury report, I guess, when they released it earlier this afternoon. Okay, there's your injury report to set up this game. Let's go Bengals offense against this Lions defense. Yay! Have you heard of this Aiden Hutchinson guy?
Yeah, we're gonna have to block him. We're gonna have to find a way to neutralize Aiden Hutchinson in this game, which is gonna be difficult to say the least. Now, oh shoot, I just deleted something.
Oh, what did you do?
I don't.
What did you do? You're screwing up already.
Am I on the stream still?
You are still here.
I guess so. So you do have to worry about Aiden Hutchinson, the pass rush. Thankfully, you don't have a lot. You don't have many other big names in the pass rush department. You do have the homecoming of DJ Reader to Cincinnati. He hasn't, graded terribly. He hasn't graded great right now, 62.1. defensive grade, run defensive grade of 58, pass rush grade of 62.6. But he's still DJ Reader. So honestly, he's somebody that the offense needs to worry about a little bit. Tylee Williams, nose tackle from Ohio State, rookie. Also the interior defensive line, playing next to Reader. Not a lot of big names aside from Aiden Hutchinson, at least in the pass rush department. So that's somewhat of a good sign to me.
Safety wise, they've got a pretty good duo. Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph. Now, we just mentioned Kirby Joseph did not practice today, so it would open it up. Now, if you're stepping, though, outside that secondary to your corners, that's probably your weakness of this Lions defense.
Yes.
And now, is that going to matter for the Bengals offense? Probably not. But at least if you're trying to find hey, this is where we can do it, you're looking at maybe you could potentially pass the ball if you can avoid Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah, they got a lot of guys banged up in the secondary. Kirby Joseph, DJ Reed's on IR. Kirby Joseph is questionable. Terrion Arnold is questionable. Did you say he was a limited participant?
He was limited today, so I didn't even put him on my list just because usually limited on Wednesday means you're good to go.
Mm-hmm. Still have to deal with Brian Branch, who might be one of the best safeties in football right now. Still got a really good linebacking unit. Derek Barnes, Jack Campbell, Alex Anzalone. Those are, that might be one of the better linebacking units in the league. So even though there's, the secondary is a little banged up, you still have some dudes in that secondary to be for some cause of concern. But yeah, this is going to be a tough matchup for the offense. Well, for a third week in a row, and we might be saying that every week up until
the Bears.
Yeah, up until the Bears game, really. And then after that, Dolphins game in week 16. Patriots, maybe. Patriots defense hasn't been that good. Bye week?
Ravens defense has been awful.
Yeah, it hasn't been great. It's been really bad.
Mm-hmm. Bye week, though?
At least we're not 1-3.
We are not 1-3. Now, they may have played a difficult schedule, maybe just a little bit, but they've lost those games as well. Let's switch gears, talk about this Lions offense. Yay! Because, oh, wait, that's right. They've got maybe one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. Top 5 guy, probably. Amon-Ra, you've got, pretty good tight end, Sam Laporta. Then you got a good running back duo. Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. Of course, David Montgomery, a Cincinnati guy coming back locally. Those weapons. That's going to be a challenge for this Bengals defense.
Yeah, and if they're going to play passively like they played during the Broncos game, and I think the pass rush wasn't getting home, but you weren't seeing gang tackling during the Broncos game. You were seeing missed tackles in general. You were seeing bad angles being taken. This line skill position group will punish you if you do that. So, if we're talking about a key to victory, it's not, I don't even know if we should call it a key to victory. I just want a key to staying in the game or not looking like utter garbage during a game at this point. You're going to have to be a little more assertive on the defensive side of the ball and instead of letting them come to you and just blow you off the ball like they have the past, at least this past game. Maybe not as much in the Vikings game, but definitely this past game against the Broncos.
The thing you want to circle, though, on this Lions team is Taylor Decker. Left tackle. He is questionable right now. Did not practice today, dealing with a shoulder injury. If you're going off the depth chart, the guy who would be slated to start is a guy we have talked about on this podcast, Mick. In fact, it is a name that one Alex, I don't know his middle name, I'm going to guess it's C. Alex C. Schubert brought up there. Giovanni Manu would be slated to start at left tackle if the depth chart I was looking at is correct. Giovanni Manu has 7 career snaps in the NFL. Where did Giovanni Manu go to college, Mick?
He's Canadian.
Yes,
British
what
Columbia.
college, though? There
British
you go.
Columbia.
University of British Columbia. So, again, and of those 7 snaps, all of them run blocking. So what to me that says is you're looking at Trey Hendrickson if Taylor Decker can't go, and you're needing to say, Trey, you're going to have to win us this game. Really, he's probably going to have to win it anyways, but that is a huge mismatch.
It is. It is. And this is a game where Trey's been reeling for the past couple of weeks, hasn't played well. He's been, like you said, a non-factor. Are we going to get the Trey that we saw from week 1, or are we going to get the Trey that we've seen the past couple of weeks? Hopefully Shamar Stewart coming back gives a little bit of a jolt of energy to Trey. I think Shamar Stewart is probably the second best pass rushing edge rusher on the team at this point, which is something, which is something to note. But if Trey does need to find a way to get back to form and make this, he's the one he's the driving force on this defense. He's the pass rush in general is the driving force of any defense in the NFL. If your pass rush is good, everything else seems to fall in place. The pass rush has been pretty bad the past couple of weeks. It was really bad against the Broncos. A 4% pass rush win rate team wide.
It's pretty bad.
It's embarrassingly bad. You got to find a way to get to right those wrongs that you had on Monday in that department.
You kind of touched on this, but I also want to ask it to you more formally as well. Is there a moral victory of sorts for you for this result of this game? Like, I know, coaching staffs don't do moral victories, but as fans, we can say, you know what? We lost, but at least these things happened and I feel better.
Yeah, no, I think that there definitely are moral victories to be had. And at this point, like I said, I just said a couple minutes ago, I'm not looking for this team to come out and win this game, but I want to see a team drastically different from the team that I've seen the past couple of weeks. Am I seeing a team that's fighting, that's finishing tackles, that's trying to get that's in position more than it is not in position to make plays in this game? Yes. Am I necessarily expecting them to win the game or to even lose the game by less than 2 scores? No.
Wow. Less than 2 scores. Wow. Make Mr. Negativity over here. I was going to pick him to win, maybe. No, I'm not.
No, you weren't.
No, I wasn't. I can't do it. Do you want to make your picks now? Should we just go ahead and do it? I went first last week. You go.
Bengals are losing. We'll go 34-17. I think the offense gets a little bit going. DJ Reed being out is pretty big. So hopefully, our wide receiver unit can exploit the secondary a little bit with Kirby Joseph and DJ Reed being out. Kirby Joseph, we don't know yet, I guess, but DJ Reed's definitely out.
Very similar to what I was going to say. I said Lions 31-21. But I'm afraid that 21 is going to be a sloppy, like it's 31-14 and they get a touchdown late or something where the Lions are just, they're in cruise control by that point. Payne asks the question, Mick, I'll leave it to you. Would having Burrow on the sidelines boost morale?
Well, yeah, I think it would. I mean, that's where I was kind of going out with my point earlier is like, if Burrow's not on the sidelines, maybe having him on the sidelines and, being the leader that we're paying him to be and that he's proven to be throughout the course of his career, having him be a little more active with the team and in participating on the sidelines and maybe firing up the troops a little bit, maybe would do something to boost morale. Because right now, Zac Taylor's lost his locker room.
Yeah, I mean, it's sure gonna hurt.
No.
I don't really know. Heck, they might need to put you down there on the side.
They could put me down.
You'll get them fired up, right?
Yeah.
I kind of want to know what your pregame speech would be now.
You have to wait and find out.
Oh, so you're actually going to be in the locker room before the game?
Yeah, I'm going to force my way in there.
How are you going to be able to not to get your water and your pretzel before the game then if you don't do that?
I'll get it beforehand. I'll bring it with me.
No, you won't. That would mean you'd have to drink one less thing when you're there. See, look, let's find you. Okay, I think this is it, right? Is it? Aren't you eating? Yep, there you are eating your pretzel down there. You're going to pass on this time to give a hype speech to the team. Look at the kind of guy you are, Mick. Maybe then you wouldn't need to do this during the game and go to the restroom during it. Bang. Done.
I don't think the water is what made me have to tinkle.
Coach Trickle on the sideline. Where's your son at?
Coach Trickle's coming back.
Oh boy, if you know, you know.
If I ever became like an NFL head coach, best believe I'm legally changing my name to Mick Trickle.
I'll be your media relations guy. How's that sound?
There we go.
There you go. Alrighty. Any parting thought? Well, here, what's your confidence level? At least, if you're listening to this on podcast, the game is already, the result has already happened. So, sorry. Skip to the end. But what's your confidence level to the Reds, Johnny? Zac Taylor?
I think it's fairly high. I think that the team had some jitters early on in the game. They just weren't seeing the ball. Hitting wise, Blake Snell is a veteran pitcher in this league, and will punish I guess younger players that aren't having the best approach at the plate. But really once he was out, that Dodgers bullpen wasn't that great in the game. Now, are they going to be throwing out better arms? Because were they throwing out worse arms because they were up by so much in the game and that allowed the Reds to crawl back a little bit? That might be remain to be seen. But my confidence level's not too I don't think it's too bad for this game. I think that there's a really good chance they claw back and even up the series.
Like I said, though, the best part about the Reds right now is they get to play with nothing to lose.
Yes.
All of the pressure is on the Dodgers. Even with a 1-0 lead, no one expects the Reds to do anything.
No.
But hey, Zac Littell, maybe we'll get something good from him. Maybe we'll get a Legacy Littell game.
Legacy Littell. That'll be his new name.
There you go. Yes. Littell the Legacy or something. But see, I already and I'm gonna say that the Reds will win tonight just because fate hates me. And I'm doing a high school football game tomorrow night. And it would kick off at 8:00 Eastern, and the game starts obviously at 9 Eastern, and that's just how it'll go. Just because I know that's what fate does to me. Is why would Sam get to watch a game 3? No, he'll be doing high school football instead.
Will you be in Grayson County when that's going on, or will you be out of town?
I will be in beautiful Hartford, Kentucky. You ever been to Hartford?
I feel like you're gonna have. Are you driving students back with you?
Yes.
Oh, I was gonna say you
it's
might need to just find a bar in Hartford County or whatever.
It's Hartford, Kentucky, Ohio
Hartford,
County.
Kentucky.
But what is interesting is in Hartford, the town to the south of Hartford is called Beaver Dam. Beaver Dam happens to be the host of a Beef O'Brady's.
Which, if you don't know, audience, which I think our audience is only people that know me or know us at this point. My parents used to be franchisees of one of those way back when.
Not that one. Not that
one.
Not in Beaver Dam. Not in Beaver Dam. Schubert says, it would suck. We had a playoff run last a grand total of 26 and a half hours, but that's better than 0 hours.
Yeah. We had a playoff drought that lasted 13 years, 12 years.
They went almost 30 innings without scoring a run in the playoffs.
They did. They almost broke a record.
Fun. Mick, have a great week. Go Reds.
Go
Houday,
Reds.
maybe we'll pick up a win on Sunday, and next week's show will be a little bit more optimistic. How's that sound?
Yeah, for sure. Also, if you're going to the game, safe travels to Cincinnati. If you're traveling, also stay safe. Hope you have a great time tailgating. We will be at our usual spot, maybe. I might have some other stops we need to make actually tomorrow or on Sunday as well. It's a good thing it's a 4:25 kickoff.
Yeah, because we're gonna get out there about 8 a.m.
We'll talk about that.
We'll see you next week. Have a great week, everyone.
Yep. Houday. Thanks for watching.